Hello and welcome back. In fall of 2023, in October and November, I went on a long-awaited trip to Japan by myself. It was about 4 years in the making in my mind during the Corona pandemic. And I was eagerly awaiting Japan to reopen for travelers. For many years I had in my mind the idea to go to Shikoku, where we have been before, and do the famous 88 temple O-Henro walk. So I bought this guidebook that is the usual guidebook for this, very well known for this pilgrimage, and I had a lot of time to prepare. And while I was doing this preparation, I decided that I do not do the walking that is traditionally done, because that will take 7 to 8 weeks to complete. And it's quite expensive also, because you need 7 to 8 weeks where you have to have accommodation for each night, and you need to support yourself eating and all the other expenses that you have during this trip. So I decided to do it a little bit different and searched on the internet and found that I can rent a small campervan, which is, after the trip now, I have to say it is a quite feasible and also quite cost-effective way of doing this, because if you want to do it in a faster manner, you could complete the round in 2 to 3 weeks if you wanted. I took some more time. I took 5 weeks to do the whole trip around Shikoku. And this campervan cost me only 45 euros per day, which is less than you have to pay for your accommodation. Whether you stay in a ryokan or minshuku or a small hotel, doesn't really matter. Still the 45 euros per day for my campervan was quite cost effective comparatively. So, and it had other advantages. I could take my photographic gear with my camera, my lenses, my tripod, filters and all that, and my personal belongings, clothing and everything, and didn't have to lug that around the whole island. With a small little camera or an iPhone, that would have not been a problem, but with my whole camera gear, that was already 3 to 4 kilos back then, this campervan option really appealed to me. So in this video I will not talk so much about the logistics or where to stay and how to do the O-Henro pilgrimage itself, because this guidebook, which you should buy, is highly recommended, because it tells you, it shows you the whole route with detailed descriptions where to walk and where convenience stores are. There are many links in here, many mentionings of hotels, places to stay. Even onsen sometimes are in here. So, and all the basic information on how to travel to Japan, the background about this pilgrimage, how it came about, and how to do your rituals in the temples. All this is basically detailed in here. And also I used for preparation the videos of one other YouTuber that I found. His channel I will link down below in the description. His channel is called the Shikoku Henro, and he has a very interesting video about, a lengthy video about details and where he walks the whole route. And also back then he provided, how to say, it's a upload files. You could, he prepared detailed points of interest that he found to be uploaded to Gaia GPS, which is a navigation system or an app for your iPhone or for your Android phone. And so I used his information, loaded it into my Gaia GPS, and so I had a detailed plan where the temples are, where convenience stores are, where onsen are, and all that. Nowadays you don't have to do that complicated thing, because now he has created an app especially for Henro, for this walk, where all this information is included in this app. So I highly recommend, if you want to do this pilgrimage, that you download his app. It's invaluable for your navigation around the island. Also down in the description I will link the maps that are available on the internet on websites or on PDF forms, and there's also a website for accommodations around this pilgrimage. So all this practical information is either in here or in the links that I will provide down below. So in this video I will not do the usual videos that are already on YouTube, how I walk around or how I travel around the island and visit all the temples. This video is more a collection of the photographs that I took while doing the pilgrimage. I took my time in the temples. I did a lot of detours into some river gorges, on mountaintops, long hikes up the mountains, and this is more of meditative photography account of this pilgrimage that I did. So it's a combination of visiting 88 temples and doing nature hikes and a lot of photography. So please enjoy. So I arrived in Japan on October 24 of 2023. I flew to Tokyo and then with another plane to Osaka. I had one day in Osaka before I could pick up my rental campervan, so I enjoyed a full day of walking and taking photographs in this modern city. We had a nice sunset at Osaka Castle. And at night the castle is illuminated. Very interesting against the blue sky. So now I could pick up my rental car from RV Village in Osaka and drove over the big bridges to the island of Shikoku. Here's the Naruto Bridge. and my first view of the Shikoku Island, the mountains. Here's Temple 1, Ryozenji. It's a beautiful temple with all these lanterns. And also here at this temple you get your attire, you get your book for your temple stamps, everything you need for your pilgrimage. Here this lady is putting the calligraphy for the first temple. So on this first day on the island I visited the few temples. Here's Temple 6, that is already the second day. At every temple entrance you see these watchmen that are guarding the temple. So the first 17 temples also are all around Tokushima city. So you go on the northern side along the mountains and visit the first 10 temples, and then you cross over to Temple 11, and Temple 12 is in the mountains, and then you go back. But I did a detour after Temple 12 and went into the mountains and hiked up Tsurugi-san, which is one of the larger mountains in this area, and there was a beautiful sunset. Very stormy conditions. I had to hang on to my tripod so it wouldn't shake, but I could still manage to get some interesting photographs. This is a mountain hut where we stayed overnight. Next morning I was hoping for sunrise, but was completely covered in clouds and fog, which made for a nice walk down the mountain in this foggy condition. Very, very beautiful scenery. The whole mountainside is covered with these little tiny bamboo shrubs that are only knee-high. You can see here on the ground everywhere. And I love these gnarly trees that are typical for these higher mountains. Not many people were walking this morning. So from there I went further into the mountains to Iya Valley. And as you can see, it's a beautiful river gorge with lots of stones and rock formations and vine bridges. This is a scarecrow village, which is by now world famous. And here I went a little bit up the mountainside, Ochiai village, which you see in this photograph. This photograph is taken from my overnight spot. There were only 2 parking spots and a nice toilet. So now I'm driving back through Scarecrow village and up to Tsurugi-san again to continue my route along the temples. Very interesting trees and rock formations. So now we are at Temple 12 and then continue on to Temple 13. Temple 12 is a beautiful mountain temple, as you can see. So coming down the mountain, traveling to Temple 13 now. This is a very interesting temple. As you can see, the whole temple is on rocky grounds. And now it's almost sunset, so the temples are closing at 5, so this is my last stamp for today. And finding my accommodation, onsen, and then a place to sleep. So day 5 I started at Temple 18, still on the outskirts of Tokushima. Beautiful river valley. Often I took the scenic route. I wanted to see the landscape and the small towns and villages. I love these mountain temples. So now I'm on my way to Temple 21, Tairyuji, where you can take a ropeway to get up the mountain and visit the temple. It's already late in the evening, only half an hour before the temple is closing, but beautiful lighting. I like these last hours at the temple, when they start to light up the lamps. A little peek inside a temple hall, and very beautiful old cedar trees. So now you see that my car was damaged. The engine would not start. I could not figure out what to do. So I called the RV village, Tamura-san, and he got me a tow truck for the next day. This is day 6 now. And my car was towed back to Tokushima city, to a repair shop, and the guys tried to figure out for 3 hours straight what was wrong with the engine, but apparently there was nothing wrong with the engine. It must have been the computer controlling the engine and the valves, which they couldn't fix on the spot. So very graciously Tamura-san offered me to replace this car with a regular van, which he converted while I was waiting here in this shop. He took out all the back seats of this Toyota van that he had and got some window coverings and a mattress and a little power station, and he equipped this regular van to be my replacement camper van. And believe it or not, he put it on a tow truck, drove all the way from Osaka to Shikoku to Tokushima to this repair shop where I was waiting, arrived there at 7 o'clock in the evening and unloaded the new van, loaded the broken van on his tow truck and drove back all the way to Osaka to his rental shop. What a service! At no additional cost, I got a bigger van, a replacement van, and all the trouble he went through to get me this replacement van, I can only say thank you. I will link his company also in down below in the video description. So if you ever come to this area, please consider renting from him. He's a very, very friendly and gracious guy. So, next day I slept outside of this temple and was the first visitor in the morning, and continued my tour down the south coast of Shikoku, the coastline is very stunning landscape, rock formations, arches, holes. As you can see, it's a beautiful area to visit. So here I reach Hiwasa town, which is part of Minami town. This is temple 23, Yakuji. See little castle on this island there. Beautiful town. And the seascapes. Strong, harsh light, but as you know, I like this kind of light. Very contrasty. So all this is still day 7. It's a long drive down the coastline. There are long distances between temples in this area. Here in this bay I could take a bath in the ocean. It's November 1st, but it was so warm that I could not help myself and went into the ocean. So in here below temple 24 I had my night parking, and the next morning you see these rock formations, very interesting. Very typical for Japan. When there's a little construction, there are always people steering the traffic. Temple 25. And here I reached Ioki Cave. This is actually right on the walking path, so walking Henro are walking right past this cave. And please have a look in your guidebooks. Don't miss this Ioki Cave. This is a very beautiful cave. It's not long, it's not a strenuous hike. You can do that even with a backpack. I was glad that I had my tripod with me. It was really dark in there. So I could take double exposures and do some HDR in Lightroom after. It was very, very high contrast, the sky and the dark cave. And time to find a place to sleep. Here you see me doing my evening photo session and writing my blog. Day 9, first night in Kochi Prefecture, and as I was sleeping next to the ocean in my campervan, I woke up to this beautiful view. Continued on to the Kochi city area. Here you see the outskirts of Kochi city. Visited a cave that is in the mountains there, the Yogado Cave. And then visited a lot of temples, 28 to 32. So here you see a group that was traveling by bus, accompanied by some monks. This is what you often see at the temples. And some lunch. All you see here on the table is about 10 euros. Unbelievably cheap. Kochi city. Some Henro left his backpack for doing his rituals at the temple, and the stamp office. Day 10, morning light. And time to visit Kochi Castle. Kochi Castle is one of the 12 remaining original wooden castles in Japan. Highly recommended. This is Taruno Fall. Highly recommended to visit. And after this waterfall, I drove further into the island along a river and visit a paper museum. This old lady has been working there for over 60 years. And you can try doing the washi paper production yourself. Very interesting experience. So further around Kochi city, there are more temples to be visited. And then over this bridge along the Kochi coastline, visiting Temple 35, and then at a very beautiful parking spot on the coast I met a fellow O-Henro whose name is Tom Ward, and maybe if you read some of the guidebooks you know his name. Here in this picture you see him sitting on the right. He's one of the fellows that is associated with this O-Henro organization who is guiding people around the island doing the O-Henro walk. It's nice talking to him. Temple 36 is a very beautiful temple. Also the surroundings are very beautiful. So further down the Kochi coastline, day 11 of my pilgrimage. Beautiful sea stacks everywhere. So here in this photograph you see one of the evacuation towers that have been built in many towns around along the coastline after the tsunami. Driving through the mountains. Here you see a whole village for ginger harvest. And arriving at Temple 37, Iwamoto-ji. Here I could buy some presents, incense sticks for people back home. And I drove further along the Shimanto River to find an onsen and a place to stay overnight. Next morning, back at the coast, stormy, changing conditions, making for interesting photographs. Today was again a long drive along the coastline to the next temple. The whole island of Shikoku is very mountainous. We have lots of tunnels. The streets and the roads are always in the valleys. There's not a lot of space where people can actually live, put their houses and do farming. So along the coastline you see the houses are really dotted along the coastline. Everything else is mountains. So day 13. I was sleeping overnight on a big parking lot in this town here, and I walked from there to Temple 4T in the morning sun. Beautiful townscapes along the river. And continuing along the coastline. So now we are in Ehime Prefecture, which is on the southwest and west side of Shikoku. And from here I went on a walk along a river, Yakushitani, which is the waterfall system in this valley. It's a very beautiful walk with many little waterfalls. This is the town of Iwajima, and here I visited temples 41 and 42 and drove a little further to find an onsen for the night. Here you see the onsen, which is in a JR train station, but still it was a beautiful onsen and a nice small town at night. So day 14. Continuing on to Temple 43, which is in Seiyo City. And continuing on through the mountains to get to Ozu City, which you see here. It's a beautiful small town with a newly reconstructed castle, reconstructed using old methods. So here we are at temple 44, which is my last temple for today. Beautiful mountain temple. So day 15, my night I spent here at the river and walked up this beautiful mountain to temple 45, Iwayaji. It's a very beautiful temple. As you can see, it's built into the mountain. After that, I had a photo walk along the river, enjoying the fall colors and some black and white. So now coming to the outskirts of Matsuyama city, I visited temple 46 and 47. They are very close together, so I could walk from one to the next without moving my car. This is temple 49, Jodo-ji in Matsuyama city. And here I walk up the castle stairs to Matsuyama Castle. It was a rainy day, so you don't see much of Matsuyama city. On day 17 of my pilgrimage trip, I slept on the parking lot of temple 52, which is in the forest up a mountain. So I was one of the first visiting the temple in the morning. So after temple 52, I drove on to Imabari city, and here you see the view over the inland sea. On the other side, main island is basically Hiroshima city if you look across the inland sea. So here I walk to Imabari Castle. This is a view from the castle over the city. And I called it an early day. I went in the afternoon for a little photographic stroll along the coastline. And as you can see from the weather, I went to an onsen early in the afternoon and called it a day. So day 19, I visited temple 60, which is on a beautiful mountain, and then continued with some more temples, and again called it an early night and went to onsen, found a place to sleep to prepare for next day, because day 20 was a big mountain hike. Here I drive up the valley to the ropeway station, to climb Ishizuchisan. It's a very beautiful hike, but it's over 1000 meters of elevation gain. So the ropeway station is at 1100 meters, if I remember correctly, and the mountaintop is 2000. So you walk up and down and up and down, and then you reach the mountaintop at 2000. Beautiful views along the walk, highly recommended. Day 21. Started with Kombini breakfast, and then I drove on to Temple 65, Sankakuji. It's a 1-hour drive along the coastline. Sankakuji is a beautiful mountain temple. And further on to Temple 66, Unpenji, which is the mountain highest up in elevation of all the 88 temples. A beautiful view from up there also. From there you see Kannonji city, and here we are back into a beautiful river valley along the Yoshino River and to Oboke Valley for the river gorges. Day 22 I started after Kombini breakfast with Temple 67. It's a small temple which you see here, and then continued to Temple 68 and 69, which are in the same spot. So this 68 is very interesting with this concrete structure you see here, and the beautiful big tree, and Temple 69 behind the tree. So then I visited a beautiful waterfall. Not far from Temple 70. And after that I went for the evening to Chichibugahama beach, which is famous for its water reflections. It's a very sandy beach with lots of changes between water and sandy areas. So many people come there for taking reflection photos. So day 23 started again very early in the morning, hiking up to Temple 71 Yadani-ji. It was a very mystic atmosphere. The hike up the mountain in little rain, and the temple is built into a mountainside. Beautiful temple hall. I think I was the first visitor this morning. And behind this main temple area you can walk around, and there's a beautiful second temple in the mountain. So make sure to visit that. So then I visited temples 72, 73, 74, and finally the sun came fully out. Beautiful day, and I visited temple 75. Sensuji is Kukai's birthplace temple. Very huge complex. By now it had started raining again. This is Kotohira shrine. It's taking up a whole mountain, but very mystic and beautiful atmosphere despite the rain. One could say because of the rain. Then the sun came through again. Very interesting atmosphere there, and many visitors. As you can see, it's a long way up the mountain to this shrine. So day 24, I had a little later breakfast. It was raining diagonally, so I had breakfast in a combini store, charged my phone and laptop and my big power bank, and enjoyed a little longer breakfast. So then afterwards I visited temples 76 and 77, and then went to Marugame Castle, which you see here on this photograph. Then I went to temple 78, and it was so windy that I couldn't light my candles or incense sticks, but there was a temple room underneath in the catacombs, and there I could do it. Then I continued to Utazu town and visited the big aquarium there. A little bit of sightseeing. Day 25 started with Temple 80, Kokubunji, which has a lot of pine trees on its grounds. And then I continued on to mountain temples 81 and 82, Shiromine-ji and Negoro-ji. They are both on the same mountain on opposite sides and very different in character. Beautiful, big, old trees on the mountain. I did also some hiking, and here's an old rest place from 20-30 years ago, long abandoned. and now came down to Takamatsu City. Ritsurin Garden, which I wanted to visit. It's one of the most beautiful gardens in all of Japan. Day 26. I went up Yashima-san mountain with a beautiful morning view over Takamatsu, and I reached Temple 84 Yashimaji. It was a beautiful atmosphere in the morning sun. It's a big temple complex on the top of the mountain. And the view back to Takamatsu. Next temple was Temple 85, Yakushitani, and up this mountain you can take a cable car here. It's a beautiful mountain temple also. It's Monday, but still quite a few people here. As you can see, there was another bus load of pilgrims. And here the Kukai pilgrims statue with a beautiful view. Walking down this mountain, I had a little lunch on the way and then visited Temple 86, which was under construction and in need of a gardener. Temple 87 was not very interesting. It's in a town and not a single tree on this temple. But as you can see by the numbers, we are reaching the last temple of this pilgrimage route, which is Temple 88, Okubuji. And I said, well, it's getting late afternoon, why not finish the pilgrimage with the setting sun? So I visited Temple 88. Beautiful setting amongst the mountains. So the pilgrimage was finished, so what to do now? So I spent a little time walking around the town where I slept, next to the beach. Visited here the O-Henro center, which you see in the back there. And then decided to drive back to the main island. Back over Naruto Bridge and Akashikaikyo Bridge. And decided that to finish my pilgrimage I would go to Koyasan. Koyasan is this big mountain temple complex where Kukai and his Shingon Buddhism is centered. Today there are over 100 temples on this mountain, all belonging to the Shingon sect. There's even a university, so I decided to visit this temple complex to finish off my pilgrimage. I've been there on this mountain before twice over the years, and I knew that it would be a fitting, beautiful ending to my pilgrimage. So I spent the night on Koyasan. Behind the tourist information center there's a parking lot where you are allowed to stay overnight in your car. There's a heated toilet building. And next morning I went again around the main Danjogaran temple complex to see it in the morning light. And visited Kokubunji, the main temple on this mountain, to get my pilgrim's book stamped there as well. There's a special page for this temple in this book. And then on to Okuno-in, which is a huge and beautiful forest cemetery. You can walk along this 2-kilometer route through the cemetery. And in the end, at the end of this path, you reach Okuno-in temple, where Kobodaishi Kukai is believed to sit still in meditation. And here at this office you get another stamp in your pilgrim's book. There's also a special page for visiting this temple. So walking through Koya town, visiting another temple on this mountain for the fire ceremony. And then I decided to leave Koyasan and drive further through the countryside of Wakayama Prefecture. Small country roads. So after driving through the Yoshino region, I came to Nara and visited Kasuga Taisha Shrine. And then went on to Todaiji Temple, which you see here in the right. This temple complex here is a side temple, and then from here you can walk to Todaiji. This is a big Buddha in Todaiji. It's a huge wooden building. So after Nara I went to Kyoto, which I had been to before many years ago. And I wanted to visit Fushimi Inari Shrine. As you can see, it's quite busy here. It's a Friday, but still very busy. And Fushimi Inari Shrine, of course, is one of the most beautiful shrines that I know. You can walk up the whole mountainside and it's all covered with torii gates. After this I visited Tsurugi, which is near the Kyoto train station. This is also an important temple for pilgrims because this is the temple where Kukai was staying, or where he was based when he was in Kyoto. This is his main hall here that you see. After this I went to a jazz cafe for some coffee and music. And the next day, Arashiyama, a beautiful part of Kyoto on the outskirts and the mountains. I visited Tenryuji temple and enjoyed myself. The last day of my trip in Japan. It was a weekend, so many people. Another jazz cafe that I visited in Kyoto for some early dinner. Here you see his jazz cafe in this local neighborhood. And the next day I had to drop off my rental car, give it back to Tamura-san, and then went by train to the airport. Last meal before the flight, and then on my way back home. So I hope you have enjoyed this little photographic account of my O-Henro 88 Temples Shikoku pilgrimage. If you want to see more pictures and have a closer and longer look at them, I recommend, shameless plug, my book that I produced with loads of pictures and some text of this trip. So if you want to support my work here on this YouTube channel a little bit, I would suggest that you get this book, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you need more information, I have many links below this video in the description for the O-Henro and other information around this pilgrimage. So thank you very much for staying here so long, and I hope you have enjoyed this, and please like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.